In this video by testinsights.io, we're going to be looking at how we can go beyond code coverage with advanced test analytics. My name is James Walker and I'm the founder of testinsights.io. We're a company introducing new groundbreaking machine learning and visualization approaches to the testing industry. Our mantra is to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of software testing. What we're going to be going through in this demo is we're going to look at code coverage and some of the problems with that. And then we're going to look at how testinsights.io can go beyond coverage metrics and give you a much clearer view of the quality of your test suite. So what is code coverage? Code coverage reports on the execution footprint of testing. So in layman terms, what we're looking at here is how many lines of code and which lines of code were executed to complete a test. Okay, and there's various different coverage metrics: line coverage, branch coverage, condition coverage, and there's a whole world of different metrics out there. Now basically what happens is code coverage is reported as a percentage. So you'll often hear statements like 80% of my source code is covered by our automated test suite. Now over the years, code coverage has almost become the de facto key performance indicator for measuring the quality of software testing and software test suites. And personally, we've sat through many executive product reviews where code coverage is assessed and speculated with graphs like below, where we're looking at how the code coverage has changed over time and over the various release cycles that have gone through. Now, unfortunately, in reality, lines of code is actually pretty meaningless in terms of the business. Although there is a little disclaimer here that, you know, lines of code coverage is marginally better than nothing. So let's dig a little bit deeper into that 80% coverage metrics we spoke about before. Does this mean 80% of my source code is tested effectively? Well, no, it actually doesn't. Take, for example, the code on the left-hand side here. So we've got a condition at the top. If A, we're going to call some subroutine. There's a bunch of code in the middle. And then finally, we've got another condition. If B, we're going to call a different subroutine. Now we can actually achieve 100% line coverage by just writing two tests. So with A equal to true, B equal to false, and A equal to false and B equal to true. Okay, so in reality, to actually achieve true 100% coverage, we would need four combinations, right, of executing those in different orders or combinations. So in reality, line of code coverage actually gives us a false sense of security over the effectiveness of our quality assurance process. Now let's think of another scenario here, which is a bit of a higher level analysis, not into the code level. Okay, so think about from a business perspective. What if we looked at that 80% code coverage again, and then we dug deeper into it and we started to look at what tests we actually had for the login system, which is, a pretty crucial aspect of the system when you think about, business risks. What if we only had one test case covering the authentication system and it was just a happy path through, as we'll see from the graph in the middle here? The notion of business risks or impact, it just reports on the lines of code like they're all equally weighted or equally as impactful. It's more or less an engineering metric. It's not really something to assess business risks and how we're dealing with them. The focus really needs to be on how effective our testing is for the pieces of logic that are actually important to the business or carry the most weight if an issue occurs. So what we do in testinsights.io is exactly that. We go beyond code coverage to actually report on the metrics which are important to your business activities, so you can have confidence that the software you're delivering has been assured appropriately to mitigate those risks. So firstly, we record system activity. So as you're testing, performing your manual tests, your automated tests, or doing your test or exploration, we sit in the background and we listen to all of those test activities. And basically what we do is we almost reverse engineer the logic which has taken place. And we provide very rich data, so screenshots, descriptions, code, console logs, etc. We have a whole wide array of data being collected to provide visualizations and give insight into what's actually happening. So we've got interactive heat maps of test coverage, which are overlaid on top of your web page to allow you to see what functionality has actually been covered and how often it has been tested. So we also have interactive blueprints. So you can explore an interactive blueprint of your test suite to gain an understanding exactly of what pieces of logic have been assured, what combinations have been exercised, and also what pages or areas of the system have been covered as well. And this is all query based, so you can search by application function, you can search by specific testers to see what activity has taken place. Okay, so here we have testinsights.io, which is a web-based platform for understanding your test cases. So in the background, as we discussed before, what we have is a little extension which is built into the browser, and this listens and learns as your testers are testing your application. And what this does is it keeps a log of everything that the tester has interacted with. So here, if we go through, we can see a very descriptive log of exactly what's taken place, and also some various data attributes which have been logged. Now, inside testinsights.io, the first thing you're presented with is the dashboard, and this gives you some statistics about the test sessions and test activities which are taken place. Now, I can view each of those test sessions individually in their raw form. So here we have 5 test sessions which have taken place, and these test sessions have been against a project we have selected, NOP Commerce, which is an open source e-commerce system. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click on one of these sessions and we're going to view it in a bit more detail to see exactly what's happened. So I'm going to click on Order Computer here. On the left hand side we have each of the test steps. And you'll see, these are descriptive in English. It tells you exactly what's happened. And we've produced all of this automatically just by listening in the background. So you'll see here as I click through all of the different attributes which have been recorded, along with, some code snippets as well in Selenium to represent that same action the tester undertook. We also have images as we go through, so we can see some of the associated elements which have been interacted with. It's very easy to build up a view and understand what the tester undertook. Now, what testinsights.io does is it takes all of this data and it amalgamates it all together to give you advanced visualizations which allow you to gain an instant understanding of what all of these test sessions were actually doing, or what was actually tested in the application. So if I head over to the UI heat map here, what we have is an interactive heat map which shows you exactly what activities or what pieces of functionality have been interacted with. So if I click on the shopping cart page, what you'll see here is that only one element has actually been tested on this page, which is pretty poor when you consider the amount of functional elements which the user could interact with on here. Let's also take a look at the registration system. We can see we have a much larger quantity of tests going through here, 7 tests in total impacting this page. And we can get an idea from the heat map of what elements have been interacted with and also the quantities of tests we have flowing through this facet of the system. What we also have are interactive blueprints, and basically what we do is we reverse engineer a blueprint of exactly the pieces of logic and the pieces of functionality which have been tested in the system. So here we have a high-level overview of all of the pages or subsystems which have been covered by our test suite. So we start off on the demo page, we perform a registration, at some point we go back through and we order a computer, and we also have some tests in here for the login system as well. So what we can do is we can expand these and we can start to see into the actual sub logic which has taken place inside here. All of this of course recorded and created automatically just from our extension. So we can see inside the registration system exactly what data combinations and what inputs have been exercised here. What we can also do is we can go in and we can directly see the tests which are performed on individual pages. So if I go in here and look at the desktops page, we'll see that it's just a linear happy path which has gone through this system. There's no complex tests being involved here. So let's go back to the registration system, which was tested a little bit more extensively. And we can go through this, we can follow the logic and see, the various paths we've taken. If I click on an element, it comes up like before and shows me, the attributes which have been recorded, also some screenshots associated here. We also have full traceability. So if I click on an element, it shows me exactly which test sessions this was linked to and tested by. I can also go in and select a user, and this will show me all of the test cases which have been exercised by a specific user in the system. Okay, so that was testinsights.io and how we can go beyond code coverage. So we record system activity in the background. We do all of this automatically and seamlessly. We then build advanced visualizations to show you what has been tested in your test suite. So we do this by interactive heat maps and also interactive blueprints, so you can understand, assess the risks and deliver your software with confidence. So thank you very much for watching. Head over to testinsights.io to sign up for a free trial, or feel free to shoot us an email if you have any questions. Thank you very much for watching.